actually inside the National Council of Provinces, and it's been such a treat to actually be in here and see some of the old structures that have been around for many, many years, and it just is absolutely incredible to see the history that is in this walls. Well, I find it quite ironic, however, that as much as there's so much history in here, we've almost now brought the future into the NCOP, and that being in the way of anything and everything that has to do with the fourth industrial revolution. You'll find that the Department of Science and Technology together with the CSIR have come into Parliament, and they're showcasing the readiness of South Africa to be a part of this fourth industrial revolution. There are so many things that are on display here that are actually mind-blowing, and you don't realize the work that is going on behind the scenes to ensure South Africa's readiness, and how different the world is going to look and how different the world already is looking. And yet we need to catch up even more if we want to stay a part of this this global environment that's moving forward. So let me introduce you to my guests here, and I don't think he needs any introduction. Our Deputy Speaker of the House is with us here this morning, and it's so good to have Leanne Tenodi. Thank you very much for joining us, and welcome.
Good morning and welcome to you too to Parliament.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, it sounds much nicer, you welcoming it in here. I've actually not been into the NCOP. I've been into the new buildings, but never into the old, so this is a great treat for me. Also with us this morning, we've got Dr. Daniel Visser. He's R&D Strategy Manager at CSIR. Good to have you. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Thank you so much. It's excellent to be here with this event.
It really is, because, I mean, to have it here, why? Why was it specifically chosen that it would be in the NCOP, being a part of, I suppose, the major event, which is State of the Nation? That was the last big one here, and here you are, stealing center stage again.
I think, listening to what the President said about the fourth industrial revolution, it's important that we do start showing that we are doing something. And I think with getting technology into society, you need it to come from the government first. You need government to show leadership, and that's exactly what we're doing here, showing leadership from a government perspective and from a Parliament perspective on getting these technologies into society and making a difference.
Yeah. Deputy Speaker, I mean, just days after SONA, Parliament is now in full swing, and this possibly is now the way to kick it off. And I mean, I think it's quite interesting. Why the decision that this was going to be first on the agenda?
Well, two things. The first point is that the earlier point you made about buildings, old buildings, and what you call the fourth industrial revolution. Continuity and change is the struggle that is ongoing. And so that's the first important part, that we have a responsibility as Parliament to ensure that even as old things such as these buildings continue to be there, but we must also be highlighting what's emerging, what's working. And so last May we had a seminar, and it's still on our YouTube channel, Parliament RSA YouTube channel. That seminar was important for us because we wanted to understand what is this thing called the fourth industrial revolution. Is that what it is called by everyone? And it turns out not. But the important thing is that there are impacts as industrialization proceeds that are on society, about which we as Parliament have to inquire of the executive. Guys, are you ready? Are you working towards the same thing? This is why the collaboration with the Department of Science and Technology and other departments coordinated by CSIR, so that we can display this. The President coming here during SONA at his request, it was exciting that he raised these issues. It was inevitable that he was going to raise it, because Parliament is also, by the way, one of its functions is to debate and discuss as a public forum issues that impact society tremendously, and this is one of them. In the way in which things are going to happen, we would like to, firstly, our priority is to raise the levels of awareness amongst MPs and staff, so that we ourselves as an institution must be able to be responsive to these developments, but also to society, people who are going to be watching and listening to us, to be at least confident that we are walking the path, we are identifying useful opportunities that are emerging as a result of these new technologies and the impact they have on the future of work. In fact, not the future, on the immediate nature of work already, and also that we are examining them to deal with the risks that they have, the possibility of creating problems in terms of the levels of poverty and inequality we have, but also the problems of security, cyber crime, and so on. Those concerns, we want to proactively work with our government to ensure that a strategy is developed, elements of it are already in place, but that we engage the community, the public, and the various stakeholders to come and work with us in the private sector to say to us, this is what we are doing, so that we have comfort that we are not letting things slide by without our attention to them.
I mean, if you look around this room, and Daniel, this is where I'll bring you in. I mean, I've been blown away by just this 3D printer standing right behind us. I mean, when you think of a 3D printer, people think it's just this lovely printer that prints in 3D on a piece of paper. That's not the point. No, I mean, this thing is so powerful. I mean, there's an airplane throttle that it actually printed out there. There's a drone. There's so many other things. I think we'll take you, the viewer, on a tour a bit later of some of these incredible setups. I mean, if we look at SALT, if we look at what's up behind us, well, this is SALT over here, then SKA. I mean, there are so many things that we have already developed to bring ourselves forward. However, we need to move even faster, and that's where the CSIR comes into it.
Absolutely. The point of this exhibition was to show that we are doing things. We're not just waiting for this. So we are. So we have a lot of technology, and there is a vibrant innovation system, but we need to get it cohesive. We need to get it working together, and we need to get it moving faster. We are working with international partners. We're working with the World Economic Forum. We're working with a number of people across the BRICS countries to help us move as fast as we can. And then we also have a responsibility to the rest of Africa as well. So we're working with a lot of African partners to bring them on board as well, and to get the whole continent moving. If we do not move ahead in technology like this, if we do not get a good stance in this space, we will fall further behind and lose competitiveness against the rest of the world. It is important that we really do up our innovation system and get it moving very quickly.
All right, gentlemen, thanks so much for talking to us here on the program. Did you want to add a final word onto that, just very quickly?
The beauty of the emerging technologies is about schooling and education. There are fascinating developments that we can leapfrog to bring education, and the divides of urban and rural can be sprung over and provide services to people who otherwise wouldn't have. And it's our responsibility. Nobody, practically, I've heard this phrase used, is left behind. That must not be a rhetorical undertaking. It must be for real. Indeed. And this is what excites us.
Indeed. Well, it is. This is the future that we're looking at today, and it is exciting. We'll take you on a tour a bit later and show you some of the exhibitions and some of the things that are being done. So talking to us was Dr. Daniel Visser, R&D Strategy Manager at CSIR, and of course our Deputy Speaker of the House that's here this morning with us to help open this exhibition. All right, let's take a break. There'll be some sports news for you after this. Stay tuned.